Hello there, Drew Hanish of Whiskey Lore, and time for another whiskey tasting. And today, doing a tasting of the whiskey that if you come to my house and you just ask for a bourbon and you don't specify, I'll go to the decanter, pour you up what's in that decanter. And what is it? It is Old Forester 100 Signature. Interesting thing about this whiskey, and one of the reasons why I actually pour this for people is because I don't know about you, but I don't want to leave the cheapest whiskey I can find for my friends. I would like them to have something that's somewhat impressive, but I'm also not wanting to probably pour out a $100 bottle of whiskey to people who just ask for bourbon and they're not really specifying what it is that they're looking for. They just want to, they know I'm a whiskey guy, so they want to, try something that I have at the house. And so this stuff, you can buy a 175 liter for, what did I pay for that? Probably $33, something like that. This bottle is $25 a bottle. And to me, this is a great quality whiskey. It has a lot of personality to it. Every time I drink it, I get something a little bit different out of it. And so it's a little bit of an adventure. And I love the history behind the brand Old Forester. George Garvin Brown, the guy behind Brown-Forman, who now has Slane and has Woodford Reserve and has Slane, Woodford Reserve, Jack Daniels. Can't miss Jack Daniels. That's one of their big brands. So, and then once we go overseas beyond Slane, we have Glendronach, Benriach, and Glenglassaugh. So they are probably, because I was thinking about this the other day, I thought, if I went to work and gave up all of the vast array of whiskeys that I love to taste, because I love to experiment and go around from one to the next, if I had to go with just one company and I had to spend the rest of my life drinking the whiskeys that they made, it would probably be Brown-Forman, because they don't have a ton in their portfolio, but what they do have is all stuff that's on the top of my bourbon list and on the top of my Scotch list and at the top of my Irish whiskey list. So it makes it really hard for me not to say that would be the direction that I would want to go with that choice. So the other reason why I'm doing a retasting on this one is also because I'm doing, I had done a podcast this week where I did an interview with the guys at Joseph and Joseph Architects, who are the ones that designed the Old Forester distillery in the building that it used to be in, and then it was gone. It was just a front for a while. And then they went in and redesigned that distillery. And to me, it is the best distillery in Kentucky to go visit if you want to go to one distillery that does a lot of things, because they have a cooperage. They're the only distillery that has a cooperage in Kentucky. So that is a big advantage. They do storage of whiskey in there. They have a little warehouse area. It's a very cool looking warehouse area. And I went there the week it opened. I have not been back since. So at some point very soon, I am looking forward to getting back to Old Forester to do another visit. A lot of oak on the nose on this one, really. And it's honestly, in a way, now that I've nosed the bonded Jack Daniels, it kind of has that rye meets oak blend that I really like. I mean, I love rye. I'm not as big a fan of oak, but I like the fact that when you can marry them together, they have their own individual spices and they work together really nicely. This time when I tasted it, the char comes through, but the notes I get out of this are kind of like a peanut brittle kind of toffee flavor meets nuttiness. I sometimes get some really interesting flavors out of this. The grain comes through nicely on this whiskey as well, lingers on the finish. What's interesting about this whiskey, for those of you who think whiskey should be spelled without a E, that's one fact here with Old Forester. They spell it the old Scottish way, or the way the rest of the world does, basically, other than some Irish and some American whiskeys and Mexican whiskeys, because there is, I think, a Mexican whiskey that spells with an E. But this is also, you might assume that because this is 100 proof, it's a bottled in bond. It is not. I guess because of the warehouse it comes out of, maybe not, well, distilling seasons, all of that stuff has to fit for bottled in bond. So this breaks a rule somewhere, apparently. And that's the reason why this is not a bottled in bond. But it is still an exceptional whiskey. And like I say, for me, it's the whiskey that I keep around for guests when they come over, because I want to treat you nice. I want you, if you're going to order or ask me for a bourbon, I don't want to let you down. I want you to have something that tastes really good. So good, affordable, and to me, a great house bourbon. What do you guys think? What is your house whiskey? When people come over, what do you serve them? You serve them just whatever, or do you have a particular choice? Do you have a decanter? What do you keep in your decanter? All kind of interesting questions. I'd love to hear from you and have you put those down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like, love the comments, and subscribe if you want to watch more of these videos down the road. Until next time, I've emptied my glass. Cheers and sláinte mhath.